Ladies and gentlemen, in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. Everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a specific political objective. Nothing happens just out of coincidence. Earlier today, the Inspector General of Police, Hillary Mutyambai, issued a statement. And in that statement, he stated that he will be absent from duty on medical grounds, and he appointed Noor Gabow to take charge until he resumes duties. That move is causing serious political headache and anxiety in Azimio camp. Now, this is the statement. Let me just read for you the statement. Absence from office. This is to inform the general public that I will be away from office attending to a medical checkup effective today, 26th August 2022. In my absence, Mr. Noor Gabow, the Deputy Inspector General, Administration Police Service, will act as the Inspector General of the National Police Service until my return. Hillary Mutyambai, Inspector General of Police. For those who've been following the politics of this country, Noor Gabow was being hailed by Kenya Kwanza as a hero. On the day William Ruto was declared the president-elect of the Republic of Kenya by Ruto and Chebukati, so many things took place at the Bomas of Kenya. And the man at the center of everything was the same gentleman, Noor Gabow. And because of this move, majority of Raila Odinga supporters are worried. Let me just take you through what took place on that particular day. William Ruto arrived at Bomas to be announced early. Wafula Chebukati issued another statement that he was going to announce the result much later. The results, I think, was supposed to be announced at 2 initially. Then he issued another statement that it will be at, was it at 4? Then there was some delay. Wafula Chebukati did not make it on time. And according to sources, Wafula Chebukati was actually blocked from leaving his office. Then Noor Gabow came to his rescue. And he decided that come what come may, Wafula Chebukati was going to declare the president-elect. So the first task was to secure the Bomas of Kenya. Remember, Bomas of Kenya was chaotic. There were Azimio supporters, there were Kenya Kwanza, there was everybody. So the first thing which Gabow did, for those who followed the events as they happened in Bomas, was to evacuate William Ruto's mother out of Bomas. He did it personally. If you watched the videos, you'd see Gabow escorting William Ruto's mother out of Bomas of Kenya. For me, that was the right thing for him to do. Once that was done, William Ruto's mother and the family were evacuated from Bomas. Once that was done, the next thing he did when he came back was to remove all Azimio supporters from the dais. If you study the videos there, you'll notice that Azimio supporters were being removed from the dais. Most of them, they were removed. Once that was done, he then went and facilitated the return of Chebukati in the room. Because remember, initially, Wafula Chebukati came and Azimio supporters blocked him. Some of them even threw, like my member of parliament, Rebwaduma Owur, threw that chair, like Damo Lekena. So once he kicked out all these Azimio supporters, he facilitated the return of William Ruto, who came first, sat and rested. He then went and brought Wafula Chebukati personally to the Bomas of Kenya dais there. And that's how Wafula Chebukati ended up announcing the results. And Azimio supporters were very angry with the Noor Gabow. On the other side, Kenya Kwanza celebrated this police officer as a hero. Now, this is the same gentleman who has now been appointed to take charge of the police.
We have the most incompetent Inspector General of Police, I think, in the world. The most incompetent in the whole world. And that's a big problem. His incompetence may not necessarily play out when things are working, but when things get to a head and you need some decisions to be made, I can tell you for sure, the gentleman we have as an IG cannot make any decision.
In this video, I want to explain to you guys why Azimio supporters are worried, why they are scared by this latest move. But before we do that, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button, so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. So it's my humble request, guys, that please just give the video thumbs up. Today is Friday. I know one of my friends, Gordon, will send me whatever he normally sends me, the around 5 bottles every week, consistently, by the way. Gordon has done this consistently for 2 years, every Friday, consistently. So I'm expecting a few bottles and coffee from you guys. Now, I want us to play a bit of politics a bit. Why do you think Hillary Mutyambai would pick on this guy? Why do you think he would do that? This is the gentleman who facilitated William Ruto. And the understanding in Kenya is that President Uhuru Kenyatta is not happy with that announcement. And that those who facilitated that announcement annoyed President Uhuru Kenyatta. Yet, this is the same person who has now been appointed. Is it a trap for him? I'm just saying, is it a trap for him? Because now he was celebrated by the Kenya Kwanza. Is it a trap that this time around he's being put there to be in charge? So that if anything will happen, then Kenya Kwanza will not attack him. That could be a possibility. But for me, I think Raila Odinga and his team are worried because, number one, as the acting Inspector General of Police, this gentleman can frustrate all investigations on the events which took place at the Bomas of Kenya. You know, Bomas of Kenya was chaotic. It was a scene of crime, Bomas of Kenya. That's the reality. We saw people changing forms. We saw Gladys Sholei, the boss, with a laptop which was picked up by the government. We saw Azimio supporters being kicked out. Moses Kuria has actually presented a petition at the Supreme Court accusing Raila Odinga of creating chaos at Bomas of Kenya. Now, all these things which took place at Bomas of Kenya were supposed to be investigated. The guy who was in charge of operation on that particular day has now been made the IG, acting. If he was being implicated, do you think he can implicate himself? If he was against Azimio, do you think he will support Azimio? I'm just trying to be critical. So that's number one. Number two, this same gentleman, now being the Inspector General of Police, will be in charge of the NIS, will be in charge of the DCI. If this gentleman was celebrated by William Ruto and the team, and assuming the guy is sympathetic to William Ruto and the team, my question which I'm asking you guys, do you think this guy will now use the NIS and DCI to the advantage of William Ruto? The Director General of Criminal Investigation, George Kinoti, has always been singled out by William Samoei Arap Ruto as one of the people fighting him. William Ruto has been on record that the National Intelligence Service was being used by President Uhuru Kenyatta to finish him. This guy will now be in charge of the two. Is he going to continue using the same to aid President Uhuru Kenyatta the way the Deputy President was saying, or is he now going to use them to the advantage of William Ruto? I'm just asking. I just saw a statement, forensic audit by the police, and I'm wondering whether this guy sanctioned this, because the report came today, I think before he was appointed. Or could it be a trap which is being laid for him? Because he supported this guy, now he's being told, do this, but these guys will be watching. So Raila Odinga supporters are now worried. Because if he'll now be in charge of NIS, he'll be in charge of DCI. There's a chance that he can frustrate the two bodies, if the two bodies were for President Uhuru Kenyatta. Of course, the police service is utumishi kwa wote. So he might be working, just discharging his duties. You never know. Number three, the move is actually a psychological boost for Kenya Kwanza. If you've been following online comments on this particular development, most of Azimio supporters are worried. But Kenya Kwanza supporters are now saying that Uhuru Kenyatta has no option. That what we are witnessing is actually the beginning of transition. That the guy is being put in charge so that he can facilitate the transfer of power. So let us wait and see. And number four, in my view, this appointment is exposing what most Kenyans have been saying silently, that there is division within the deep state. But the deep state is divided. There are those who are supporting Raila, there are those who are supporting Ruto. Of course, that's the truth. And now, if the other side, which was supporting Raila Odinga, is now giving up and allowing the guy who is now supporting Ruto to take charge, what's going to happen? And lastly, in case the guy was not pleased with the way Azimio team conducted themselves at the Bomas of Kenya, then it means he's going to frustrate the Azimio team. And how is he going to frustrate the Azimio team? In one of Azimio prayers, they are asking the DCI to make the forensic audit public and submit it as evidence in court. If you look at that report, it says that indeed the Venezuelan guy was part and parcel of people who had access to the IBC portal and all data, which means he can edit anything, he can change anything the way he wants. So if that's if that was found by the DCI, the guy can decide to frustrate Azimio. Of course, even right now, the country is waiting for the judgment which will be made by the 7 Supreme Court judges. The 7 Supreme Court judges are human beings. This person can decide to even intimidate them if he wants, just to ensure that things are moving the way they're supposed to be. I don't know what you think, but that's my take. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day. And by the way, we are going to have our live show today, 7:30 or 7:45 there until 9. Hopefully you guys will have time for the show today. Thank you. Until that time, this is Lee Makwiny.